Greetings, denizens of the Empire. It's Jabari here. Happy Black History Month. For the past few years, I've been releasing a series of videos to honor Black history in an unconventional way. By this, I mean I'm not just focusing on the civil rights movement or inventions of African Americans. Instead, I'm focusing on history further back and the African timeline. However, this time around I decided to do something a little bit different as well, and I had a little bit of help. I'm proud to announce Untold Black History, a collaboration between many wonderful YouTube channels, all collectively contributing to a large playlist consisting entirely of Black history from all periods of time, both from the continent of Africa and all of the diaspora. So sit back and enjoy the show. A few months back, I released a video discussing the Lukasa memory boards, a complex method of record keeping used by the Luba people of Central Africa. This was the first of a series of videos that I plan on sharing with you all in an attempt to discuss the various methods that African people use to record information. Today's video will kinda be a follow-up of two different videos. The aforementioned topic, as well as another video that I made about a possible indigenous writing system developed centuries ago in the Zimbabwean kingdoms. I just want to briefly shout out Happy Hippo Herbals for making this video possible. Happy Hippo Herbals is a provider of numerous alternative medicine products, some of which I use regularly to help me stay focused and feel less anxious in my daily life. If you use my referral link or referral code FN10, you can receive a 15% discount on all Happy Hippo Herbals products. Go to fromnothing.info/market for my affiliate link and for links to other partners that I've worked with in the past. So as mentioned in the intro, I previously released a video regarding a potential writing system from southeastern Africa, including anecdotal evidence as described by European explorers, as well as actual symbols that are known to have been used in Zimbabwean art and architecture. If you haven't seen this video already, I highly recommend that you watch it first, but just to sum it up, I describe how the symbols on this monolith are believed to have represented a Venus-based calendar, and how these symbols were also used in other Zimbabwean art and architecture. Though a proper writing system has not been confirmed as of yet, further studies have corroborated some of my research and theories. As of 2021, extensive studies by Mike Main and Tom Huffman have confirmed that these symbols likely did indeed have specific meanings. It is common knowledge that the Shona people deserve credit as the original Bantu builders of the southern African stone palaces. However, in this day and age, most Shona people have lost significant portions of their cultural traditions, including these crucial religious and architectural practices. Naturally, many of the meanings of the symbols incorporated into their spiritual and architectural designs have been lost to history. However, the neighboring Venda people are closely related to the Shona, and their culture remains relatively untouched by European influence. In fact, they still practice a tradition known as Domba, or basically a school for young adults to attend prior to marriage that educates them on married life. While the practice has all but vanished among men, it is still practiced among women, and the teachings primarily revolve around the 4 life stages. This is significant because these symbols as well as their meanings are retained among Shona divining devices known as Hakata dice. From left to right, the symbols on these devices represent the following: Old Woman, or 3 sets of crocodile patterns representing unity, as old women were revered as the supporting or unifying elements of society. Old Man, or crocodile, representing wisdom, as older men were revered as the wisest and most respected. young women or twisted snakes, which represents fertility as they were the bearers of children, and young man or snake representing virility, since young men were the backbone, strength, and providers of society. Identical designs can be found incorporated directly into the walls of these structures, and as such, Hakata symbols help immensely in our modern understanding of the purpose and hierarchical layouts of these many ruins. On occasion, these same chevrons used to represent young men could also be used to represent a python, which is associated with rain control hills. Other patterns taken directly from the walls of notable sites of Zimbabwe culture have also been documented. As you may have noticed, snakes, crocodiles, and water are prominent features in Zimbabwean art and culture. For example, the king could be secluded from society, a metaphor to the fact that the crocodile does not leave his pool. Wall patterns around the king's quarters could be found to have more intricate patterns incorporating many symbols with very specific meanings and purposes. A combination of dark bands, cords, and checks signify a crocodile in its pool, or dark bank, guarded by a giant snake or cord. And as we covered before, the snake represents young men, which of course would represent warriors guarding their king or crocodile. The intricacy of the walls and layouts directly represented the many organizational duties and responsibilities throughout these medieval African cities. Monolithic stones called horns of Mamba would be erected on top of palace walls that symbolized spears or horns, since the king himself was not only compared to a crocodile, but also to a bull that led the herd and protected his subjects with his horns. In fact, early Portuguese visitors in the 16th century described a gold-tipped lance that the King of Mutapa carried to symbolize his role of protection and enforcement of justice. The young man, or snake, was expected to be a farmer and plant his seed in the earth. Leaders would carry ivory-handled hoes to represent this, a symbol that is believed to work in conjunction atop the walls found alongside the aforementioned horns. These towers are thought to symbolize grain bins. Additionally, as young women represented fertility, they'd often share symbols with growth and productivity or grains. In fact, grooves or notches would be carved into grain bins, furnaces, drums, and even directly onto the torsos of young women. These grooved patterns are also found in entrances to some walled enclosures, and it is believed that they symbolize the areas restricted to women within the palace walls. Collectively, these grooves themselves are known as hombwe and represent the trenches dug by hoes when cultivating the land. The last piece of Zimbabwe symbology that we will discuss are perhaps the most famous of all: the monolithic bird statues. So famous, in fact, that they are represented on the national flag and coat of arms of the modern-day country of Zimbabwe. 8 of these unique sculptures were roughly 30 centimeters tall and an additional meter when including the stone pedestal in which they rested, which was snugly fit into sockets atop the walls of the great enclosure. They were carved out of solid blocks of soapstone and were historically located in sacred areas. The collection consists of both male and female birds, with the males being represented as standing figures while the females retain a sitting position. Additionally, the gender-specific symbols covered earlier that can be found among the figurines and stone structures in Zimbabwe cultural areas can also be seen represented on the unique bird statues. Both the male and female sculptures are believed to have been made to honor the ancestors. More specifically, they are thought to have represented messengers, and thus messengers of their god. This connection was drawn from the fact that the butler eagle is said to bring messages from the ancestors, and it is believed to do so since it is capable of linear flight. In other words, it moves in such a way as if it has a specific purpose in mind. It is also believed that lightning is sent by the bird of heaven, indicating that birds come from heaven. In the Kalanga language, the words needle and lightning are the same, indicating that lightning is the needle that threads the heavens with earth, and thus the lightning birds arrive on behalf of the ancestors. It is also believed by some archaeologists that bird statues represent individual kings and queens themselves, but this is debated, as some believe that at least 5 of the bird statues were carved by one sculptor at the same time. So the former theory would only make sense if they were made in an attempt to honor the many ancestors in generations past rather than successive kings. I hope you all enjoyed this brief summary of the Zimbabwe symbology. There was much more to cover, but it would have taken far too much time, so if you're interested in learning more, I'd recommend Palaces of Stone, an amazing piece of literature packed with the latest research and archaeology on the stone structures of Southern Africa. Don't forget to tune into the remainder of the playlist and learn some more amazing Black history. The link to this can be found below.